Inside it, we've got a special guest joining us today who recently graduated from our flagship course called LMA. And he'll be sharing with us his journey on board, how he found the whole experience and everything in between. So just want to say it's a pleasure to connect with you today. Let's just start with a quick introductory question. What's your name, where you're currently based, and what you currently do?
Hi, Tim. My name is Sandeep. I'm based in London and I'm a technology and business consultant, and I'm doing some voluntary work as well at the moment.
Okay, nice. So Sandeep, I suppose let's start here. Prior to you experiencing LMA, do you mind just kind of like sharing with us a glimpse of what was happening in terms of your life? What was causing the inner problems, and why were you wanting to change your life at that point?
Sure, sure. Well, I would say personally, I felt fairly successful in my life until a few years ago, say about 3 or 4 years ago. Um, and I made a decision to walk away from my embedded career and try some new things on my own and with some partners, and they simply didn't work out. Um, Slowly, I felt I had to give myself the opportunity to do this, given that I'd been in a career for 23 odd years. And I wanted to walk away from the corporate life into a more personal and self-owned sort of business. And those ideas haven't worked, right? So whilst I felt successful, I think that feedback loop was working quite well. Outwardly, I looked successful, I feel. But slowly it started to dismantle, and I realized that there's something I need to change, and I guess that's where the journey began. And it was affecting all the pillars of my life, right? So it's sort of from health, relationships, family, friends, and so on. And I know I had to make a change. I wasn't actively looking for anything
Right.
in terms of a program or anything. So that's where I am at right now.
So around that stage, what were you, I suppose, doing in a way of trying to cope with these issues, or what was you doing to try and resolve these issues as well?
Yeah, I guess sometimes you try and justify your position, right, in life, why you're there. Was it a fault of anyone else or your own? I always look at the benefits of being in a situation, and I found that it gave me space to spend time with the family and so on. Um, the pandemic happened. I took a bit of that time out to do things I really enjoyed doing, and also really focus on family. I think as a result, the sort of focus on family and so on, it's deteriorated the other part of my life, my career and so on. So I need to get that back into shape. The other thing I was doing, I'm doing meditation and so on, which has really helped.
Mm.
The anger levels have come down. I'm more relatable to people and so on.
Okay. So you're saying around that time you was using these, methods and so forth. So how did you come across LMA?
Well, in all honesty, I would never have opened a YouTube advert, right? Or I would never have really paid attention to it. I'd have just said, move on, skip. I think I was searching for something, that I was working on. It was probably some DIY type thing, and you popped up. And I started to listen. It was quite late in the evening, so I started listening to it, and I just thought, let this be a chance. Let's just give it a chance. Let's understand what this is about. And I did, and it resonated. All your points resonated at that point, and that's how I discovered it, really. And I went on to your 3 secrets of success introduction,
Mm.
and it really did sink in, and I could relate to a lot of these points, and I was intrigued. And that's one thing, the curiosity took over. My cynical side switched off,
Right.
and here I am.
Okay. So you was watching some DIY and then this Asian guy popped up and you watched this advert. Is it first time ever attending something like that? Because you attended that free masterclass, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've never thought I needed it, right?
Right.
I never thought I'd seek self-improvement of any sort. But I think it's important that you recognize, I think first stage of anything is recognize that there is a problem.
Yeah.
Next stage is to seek help. And I don't think I overcame that seeking help part or realizing that I needed something. I thought it will all work itself out. I'll try and do things that I normally do. I've been successful so far, and it'll work out.
Okay. So prior to LMA, did you do a lot of self-help, or it was kind of like your first time
It
diving
was
into it?
it was really my first time. Obviously, I did the meditation thing, which
Yeah.
was really more health related, and it's helped. That's helped massively. So that's the only side I would say I've done, and even that's been sort of self-taught. Nobody's really given me a guide on how to do it. I've watched videos and I read books and so on.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know that because, of course, we've spoken prior to this. So you was quite relatively new, would you say, to like personal development?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So you was fairly new, and you were sat on this masterclass, and you've never been on a masterclass before to do with self-help. And then you was presented an opportunity to join LMA, of course. So
sure.
I know prior to this conversation, we've spoken before, and you said you was very skeptical. So other than curiosity, like what is it that drew you into the actual course, and what made you finally take that leap?
I think I'm fairly analytical and logical, right, in the way I approach things. And I think, how much value am I going to get out of this, really, with the money that I'm, expending on it? Um, I think it was all the messages you gave in that three secrets. The backward looking, the limited beliefs, and all those things. I wanted to dig deeper into that, and I could really see why that was possibly a block for me. Um, the opportunity to try this out for, I think you said 7 days or whatever it was, 30 days. I think that sort of said, okay, if it doesn't work, you can always park it, right? You can get your money back. So that was, sort of a safety net. But I think after looking at that first course within the first couple of hours,
Yeah.
I didn't feel I needed to do that.
Okay. So you took that leap. So afterwards, when you started checking out the content, when were you sold that you're going to actually try to complete this course? Because you did, of course, complete it.
Um, I started out on the self-taught course,
Yeah.
the online pack. I did the first 2 weeks within maybe 5 days, so it was that engaging.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got waylaid, but at least I'd made a start, right? That's the important part.
Yeah.
I think what really helped was the online live LMA class, which kept me focused. It kept me engaged. I was committed on a week-to-week basis. I gave myself the me time of whatever number of hours a week it is.
Yeah.
I think it's at least 4 hours, isn't it? We spend every weekend. But I think that was important, and I think that helped. I think, and I don't know what other people say, but those messages we keep getting, the reminders, you've got a course in a day, you've got the course happening in 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like a ping, saying, look, you've got to do this. A lot of people would just switch it off or sort of
Yeah.
mute it. I kept it, and it was really helpful.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we do send out some notifications, some, a lot. All right. So you had embarked, and you said you'd gone through on your own first 2 weeks of LMA. When you started to actually consume the entire modules and so forth, and you got to the end of LMA, which module, reflecting back on, had like the greatest impact on you, and why?
Um, it's really hard to say, right? Because all of it had immense amount of value, right? But if I was to choose something, it will probably be week 3, clarity and purpose roadmap. I think that's what I was lacking myself, and your guidance helped, right? The focus, the ability to create that vision, identify the core values, and so on. I think they're the things I had real difficulty in understanding for myself, right? I mean, I could have read up on it. I don't know if it would have been as effective. Being in a group environment, I think may have been that positive energy. That helped. That's what I would say.
Okay. So now, having gone through this entire experience, Sandeep, and graduated, what's made you feel the happiest about having joined us on board LMA?
I would say a couple of things, right? I think I'm already seeing the benefits. It's been 6 weeks in, right? And I already saw the benefits. At the point I committed, I started to put into action some of those techniques. And I started to see some sort of results from it, specifically around the whole discipline versus motivation argument. I think I took a lot away from that particular point, and I found that motivation can be waning, right? You know, you could lose that along the way, but if you've got discipline, you can keep pressing forward and moving forward and get rid of some of those blocks that I had. As a person, I'm fairly, I'm pretty much a perfectionist, and therefore I find it difficult to get things done because it's either an excuse not to do it, or there's a fear of doing it and getting it wrong, and so on. And I think making that step forward is probably the most important thing for me, and having that discipline and getting things done.
Okay, nice. Which module did you find the most challenging in a good way, as in it allowed you to dig deep and really uncover some stuff?
I think the first one, because it was, you know, I think that was the first time of doing the heart fluencer exercise.
Yeah.
And I'll be completely honest, I still haven't overcome that, right? You know, I'm looking to do that, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
But I think I'm still, you know, that's how difficult it is for me, right? To have that conversation in a public space, open for everyone to see all the, you know, all the cracks and so on. And that's the difficult one for me. But, you know, it's something I need to go through.
Okay, so basically being presented that challenge, that was challenging, you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll always look for an excuse not to speak publicly, right? And here you are telling us that we have to do it. You have to get over it, right? If you want to be successful. And I know that is a deficit I have, and I'm still overcoming it, right? I'm having this conversation with you, and this may go public. And if it does, it's great. It's something I've overcome. You know, it's a forced environment, and maybe that's the pressure, you know, pressure or serendipity that I've met you and we're doing this, you know, whatever it is, it's working.
Yeah, love it, love it. So to wrap up, let's end on this. If you were to give an advice to somebody watching this video right now and they're considering joining LMA, having now gone through this experience yourself, what advice would you give to this individual?
I think 3 words: just do it. You know, there's no point in sitting on the fence, right? If I've done it, and I'm a fairly cynical, logical person that doubts things and has to evaluate every particular point, and I've done it, and I'm showing, you know, I've had benefit from it, then you can only get something out of it, right? You know, the investment that you make will become tangible after a while, but it doesn't come without your commitment and effort. That's the only thing I would say, right? Like I said, I went in the first 2 weeks, tried it myself, but the live classes really helped me stay focused, and that was work. You know, I'd torn myself away from family and so on, but that was the investment I made, and I think it will become tangible, and I think it has. It's already started to show the fruits.